Instead of a really good player, when you're not in the match, to get that one ball and make it count.
Yeah, well, looking back on those goals again, Liam, it wasn't just a case that Cork sort of sneaked them, kind of, you know, where a poacher will kind of grab a goal close in. They were opening up gaps in the Clare defence, and obviously that's something that the Clare selectors have to go and look at, because they were fairly considerable.
Yeah, they were, and you know, that's the problem, I guess, for the modern game, is that, you know, your structure and defence can be taken all over the place, and that's what happened. You know, their cornerback was gone completely out, and all of a sudden there's gaping holes left. And I think another thing they'll have worked on is they'll be very disappointed with the fact that they conceded a number of 21-yard frees. Now they realised they nearly paid a very, very heavy price. I mean, one hit the crossbar, one hit the back of the net, and one was blocked from about 5 yards away. You know, when they got so close to him. But I think they'll be very conscious of that today, not to give Clare or Cork a chance to put the ball down 21 yards out and bring up their goalie to try and have another pot at goal. So I think there'll be a lot of homework done on the back of what they've seen after video analysis on the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, because Cyril, you know, when you break away, as we have done now, obviously in the game, from the traditional man-to-man marking thing, and you go zonal marking and other things, and playing players in different positions, what was obvious there, particularly Pat Cronin going through it, fellas are looking at each other and saying, well, is he my man, is he yours, you know?
Yeah, you see, Mike, when you as the boys here know, like Liam is coached at the highest level and Eddie has won All-Irons all over the place. You see, when you do all that kind of coaching, the lads still on the team have to, hurling is an instinct game, they still have to react. Do they go or do I stay? Do I take him out of it? Do I let him come through? And even there, like, we all, like, look at the first game, you'd imagine Clare would never puck out. They didn't. The ones that they didn't win, when they didn't win it, they were going forward and didn't win. The Cork forward broke the tackle, and then pandemonium. Now, we saw 3 goals being scored, but Cork got 2 or 3 more chances as well. They got more goal chances, really, even with less ball than Clare did, because that's the kind of game they play. Now, you can coach, and you can have all the systems, like, the players still have to go out and play. And even, would you believe, it's a very small thing. Even the throw-in today, Michael, whoever wins the first throw-in, just to get the ball up, get it into the full forward line, just even that little thing. And Gerard kind of said it there below. I wouldn't be surprised, say, if there was a 21-yard free given against Clare if it comes, and it's a fight.
I'm sure we'll see something similar again today.
Eddie Brennan, we have another full crowd here today, which is incredible for a replay on a Saturday evening. We just heard the drum roll there a moment ago. The players get into the parade. What are you feeling right now as a player? Where are you at?
I think a lot of the time, I think you have to maybe experience one to know what to do, but I think a lot of the time for us, and for me anyway, was just, you know, keep the head down, breathe and keeping focused on your job at hand. I mean, I think the first thing you'll do anyway is first ball, just nothing else. The first ball, be it a hook or a block or a tackle or a catch, it's just to keep very, very focused. Different times I think you can get lost if you don't keep your head tuned in. You know, I've seen different years look at different players and they're looking up in the stand and jumping up and down. It's a sign of lads maybe not tuned in or nervous, whereas you often see teams very determined going around. They're not doing a whole lot of looking around, and I think Clare the last day did that. The last day they were just nice and calm going around, and it's about keeping control of your emotions as well, because the tendency is at the start of a match is to get stuck in and tear in and lay down your marker on the first ball. Like I say, you shake hands with him and you say it's you or me, old stock, you know what I mean, and that's the way it has to be. So it's about keeping control of your emotions, stay very focused on what you have to do.
I asked you lads this question 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to ask it again, Cyril. Who's going to win the All-Ireland final?
Well, I went for Clare the last day thinking that they were fresh and kind of new. Now, they hurled so well the last day and didn't win, it's a slight worry, because, as you know, as the boys say, they have to do the same thing again. I just had the feeling if they get a good start, a good push on and win it this time. But like, Cork will know that, like, if they don't let Clare start as well, if Cork get the start, they'll be very hard to stop them. I'm feeling Clare might just get there, but like, it's going to be tight. Well, it'll be tight early on, but Michael, someone could win this game well.
Dave Sheedy?
Yeah, well, look, I felt all the time that Clare had the better players. I think they have the better panel of players. They have some fantastic players in my view, some players that will be around Croke Park for a long, long time to come. They've averaged 25 points in the last 3 games, quarter-final, semi-final and final. If they get near that total again today, I expect them to win. Clare by a few points for me.
Eddie Brennan, have you swapped horses?
No, I'm sticking with my little pony. I went with Cork the last day. I felt they would do it. Clare, I've no fear of Clare. They will perform. There's no doubt about that. I think Davy Fitz has them primed, ready to go. But again, as we've spoken a lot about, and everyone has spoken about, Cork did not perform the last day. I expect them to go about their business from the word go, and I expect them just to get over the line by a couple of points.
All right, lads, thank you for your thoughts on all of that. Well, we were left in a bit of a limbo.
Clare versus Cork, the sequel. Saturday night hurling fever grips Croke Park. Amazingly, it's the sixth meeting of these teams. It's handled today by James McGrath, the Westmeath official. His second All-Ireland hurling final replay. He was in charge, of course, last year as well. Now, the band haven't got off yet. And eventually the referee just decides, throw the ball in and let's get on with it. And it is Cork who play from left to right in the first half, hoping to make a good early impression here. Park Cronin, the captain, coming out here, leaving it as far as Stephen McDonnell, across to the far wing. Coming up to pick it up is Conor Lehan. Goal in the point last week, well blocked down this time by the roving Conor McGrath. Does an immense amount of work for this team. Meant to be at corner forward, but he's back helping out. Lehan goes after him. McGrath hits that shot, but hits it just to the right. Worth a go, he probably felt. It would have been a huge boost for his team, but his work rate is immense.
Incredible, a great block down there on Conor Lehan. Just watching here what's happening. Pat O'Connor has gone in centre back on Keane McCarthy. Pat Cronin now gone in full forward, and Pat Horgan has come out, and Brendan Bugler has picked him up.
Brian Murphy, it looks like, has been given the job of going and picking up Padge Collins. We'll see how he fares on him this afternoon. Difficult man to contain. Coming out with this one is Pat Donlan, Clare captain, hoping he'll be lifting the McCarthy Cup at the end of all of this. Driving forward, John Conlon looking over his shoulder here to see William Egan after him. Strikes it off his left and puts it over the bar. Opening point of the match scored by John Conlon. It's taking just over a minute to produce here. Good individual work, bounced it off the ground, then 45 metres out from the target, off his left-hand side, avoided the hook of Egan and put it over the bar.
Yeah, Ger, that's a great score, and interestingly, long puck out from Anthony Nash again. They have the win behind him, Cork, and again the breaking ball won straight away there by Clare, by Conor Ryan, out to John Conlon, and a great score.
Into the half-forward line from this puck out, and it's enabled Pat O'Connor to go back, get away from his man, who is Cian McCarthy, who's gone out to the wings as anticipated. In here as far as Colin Ryan. Clare settling down to the task immediately. In as far as the man they brought in for this, Shane O'Donnell in place of Dara Conan, trying the shot, and that one has gone over the bar. 2 attacks, 2 points.
Ger, that's a great, sorry, Ger, great ball, diagonal ball across the field. Just O'Donnell inside in his own, took on Shane Reel, and a great score again, confidence to put it over the bar. This is a great start by Clare.
Well, he'll be very, very pleased with that. It was interesting, I thought Padge Collins was going to be picked up by Shane O'Neill, but they've gone and switched back again. Puck out once again by Cork to try to win this one, and it breaks down here as far as Seamus Harnedy, driving it from 20 metres out, a point they've needed to settle down the teams. 2 points to 1, and as in the first match, Seamus Harnedy gets the first point for Cork in this game.
Yeah, you saw Cian McCarthy under that, pulling very hard under the dropping ball, and obviously that's something they worked on. That's why he's in there, and great ball picked up by Harnedy.
Referee calling across after we acknowledge Harnedy's fine play there. 2 players, Pat O'Connor has been called across, and Patrick Horgan as well. Remember, he sent off Pat Horgan, this referee, before half-time in the Munster final against Limerick, and that was later rescinded. 2 points to 1 then, Clare leading. Pat Kelly's puck out. Wind holding it up a little bit. Wind back in Cork for the first half. It's a gentle breeze. Harnedy once again, very effective. All the way in towards Park Cronin. Has moved into full forward. Challenged strongly. Gets as far as Luca Farrell. Trying to make inroads. Not succeeding immediately. Judiciously playing it out as far as Rocco McLaughlin. And McLaughlin puts it over the bar. And the teams are level. Level for the first time in this match. 3.5 minutes are gone. It's flying stuff here at Croke Park in this replayed final.
Yeah, great work by Luca Farrell and Lorcan McLaughlin on his shoulder. But interestingly, as I said before the game, Pat Cronin at full forward, and they're going to be looking for a high ball in there. He broke that down and was picked up, and you can watch the Cork forwards much sharper on the breaking ball so far in the first few minutes.
And
Great
Cian
start.
Dillon's on Pat Cronin at full forward. He's gone across into full forward. Here's John Coughlin, second possession for him. Scored with his first one. It's going to drop short. O'Donnell's in there. Loves to score goals. He's got more goals than points. 3-2 is his tally in the championship this year. Brought it out here as far as Christopher Joyce. Challenged there by 2 Clare men, got it off his left-hand side and swings it into midfield, in towards Harnedy once again. Jumping for it there with Conor Ryan, the man of the match in the original game. Tony Kelly across the field over here. Conor O'Sullivan challenging Conor McGrath. McGrath has it. Second time to get on the ball here in this match. Put the first one wide, and the second shot he hits, and he hits it over the bar. Great point by Conor McGrath. His sheer industry rewarded here. He can be such a lethal predator, this fella. Showed his skills once again here, and Clare shoot back in front once more.
Yeah, Ger, what a start to the game. The pace is just incredible. Every ball being fought for both sides, picking up great breaking ball, and Tony Kelly there again with a great ball into space, and you saw how quick Conor McGrath turned again there, and a great score.
Conor Ryan is picking up Harnedy, just having a look around at the different matchups that they have here. Once again, it is Donlan in midfield, pursued here by a couple of Cork players. One of them is Daniel Carney. Can he catch up with him? What a run through the centre here. Across towards O'Donnell, and O'Donnell goes! This is the man they brought in because of his real goal threat. His 4th championship goal, justifying his selection. A goal in the 6th minute. What a boost this is.
Well, Joe, what a run by Pat Donnelly, first of all. But he shouldn't be able to walk up the centre like that. But a great hand pass, and what a finish, low and hard into the net. As you said, that's psychologically, this is huge for Clare to get that goal so early.
Cork trying to counter at the other end. Luca Farrell trying to pick it up. Repulsed, however, and David McInerney trying to get it out. Back in by Luca Farrell, prodded back out by Donald O'Donovan. Back out here as far as Lachlan McLaughlin. 30 metres out from goal. McInerney tries to force it out. Helped there by John Conlon. Conlon has it, gets away from McLaughlin. Steals away, back off his left-hand side again, now drives it a good 70-80 metres into the goalkeeper's hand. Could have done something better with that one, I think. That goal was a huge boost, however. 1-3 to 2 points. It's still Clare, and it's Tony Kelly now winning the free in, and everything has gone well for the banner.
It is, Ger, but you know, it's open both sides. Cork could have broken onto a ball on the far side of the field, but you'd have to say there, look at again the tackling of Tony Kelly there. But here's Pat Donnelly, you know, the break down the middle. There was nobody in the centre back position. He ran straight down the channel, showed great pace and a great goal.
And that's what it means to Davy Fitzgerald and Saoirse Bulfin there, his right hand man on the sideline. His first free of the game, first of the match, going to be taken by Colin Ryan. 12 points against Cork the last day, 11 of those coming from frees inside the 45-metre line, and a very, very good start here.
And during the work rate of the Clare forwards, John Conlon was back in his own half back line there. He took a wrong option, but look at the tackling when Cork tried to come out. Tony Kelly fought so hard for the ball, won the free, and Colin Ryan first scored today for him.
Well, Clare, of course, imposed their physical might and ruthless determination on Cork the last day. Now what are Cork going to do about it? That puck out towards Park Cronin. He gets there well. Trying to link up here with a support player. It's William Egan, drives it in towards the goal area, bounces off Luca Farrell, collected back there well by Conor Ryan, driven back out here as far as Colm Galvin. Galvin trying to get away from Daniel Carney, and out over the sideline following that intense pressure. A line ball to Cork, who trailed by 1-4 to 2 points, 7.5 minutes into the match. Chris Joyce about to take this in his second, or is he? He's going to leave it, and the man who'll hit it in instead will be Daniel Carney. Very, very energetic player, Daniel Carney. Almost a miss hit there, and he gave it away to Colm Galvin. Gets onto it. Carney went in to try and make amends and get the block in. Took a little bit of the heat out of that. Drops into the hands of Conor O'Sullivan. Helped out, and there was a foul there on Brian Murphy. And Brian Murphy is feeling his hand there, and Tony Kelly is spoken to by the referee.
Yeah, and as you were, Colin Galvin a little bit casual on the ball the 2 times he got it, but a great block down, very brave there by Daniel Carney.
And he got a kick in the head, totally accidental from Colm Galvin coming through that time, but it showed sheer commitment and bravery on Carney's part. And this looks like it's going to be a talk rather than a card eventually.
Yeah, that might be a throwback to earlier in the summer, you know, rather than giving a yellow card very early. And Brian Murphy, as you said, marking Podge Collins, no ball has come in between them yet, and Stephen McDonald out at centre back on Tony Kelly, but Tony Kelly just threw him away for that goal, took him out to the wing, and he went with him and left the middle wide open for Pat Donnelly.
That's interesting. They brought the goalkeeper out, Michael, to take it. It's right on the middle line between the 265s, but they've opted instead to try Pat Horgan. Well, it's well within his range, Jenny, as we know.
Yeah, I think they might have stolen 4 or 5 yards there from where it was originally given, and it brought it into his range.
11 shots on the target the last day, 10 points in all, and he's got his first here. So 1-4 to 3 points, early stages in this replayed final. Pat Kelly pucks it out, puts the pressure on the Cork half-backs. They have a big task on their hands. Colin Ryan, Kelly and Conlon, all very good players. Out it comes from defence, out as far as Conor O'Sullivan. Always keeps a very cool head and very often links up with his goalkeeper, Anthony Nash, who knows what's coming and anticipates and drives it back away down the field towards Cronin, picked up here by McCarthy. Cian McCarthy swinging it off for his left shoulder, but swinging it wide.
Yeah,
there was an opportunity.
I think Jerry get an idea of the wind there. You know, Anthony Nash has a great puck of the ball, but he right down to the 21 from his own line. And you know, Cian McCarthy, I think that's a fault in his game. You know, he takes on shots. Pat Cronin was loose inside him. All he did was throw a little hand pass over the top there, and it was his handy score. And he went for, you know, a really 50-50 ball and pucked it wide.
Pat Kelly pucking it out. Drop down there. And onto it quickly comes Conor McGrath. after him goes Seamus Harnedy, in low, dangerously, in towards O'Donnell again, in to try and collect it is Shane O'Neill, and he succeeds in his task, but it's closed down, intense pressure by the Clare forwards. Get it out as far as Brian Murphy. Murphy away down there, into the corner to Connolly Hahn. A lot of work to do from here. Takes on Donald O'Donovan. O'Donovan challenges him high, loses him completely, and Connolly Hahn has a shot and puts it over the bar. Brilliantly done by Lee Hahn. All of a sudden there was an enormous amount of space in front of him. He actually could have carried it another 20 metres, but he had enough confidence in himself. He backed himself from this angle here, hit it over the bar brilliantly. 1-4 to 4 points.
Jerry had, but that's a fantastic score. You know, Shane O'Neill out in front of his man, and you know, Brian Murphy up the wing, and what a score by Conor Lehane. And what a game. Cork coming back into it again, but here's Clare coming through.
And it's Conlon who was blocking down Willie Megan's clearance, and they managed to get it out of defence, Cork, eventually out towards Lorcan McLaughlin, who'll be looking for a great deal more success from his efforts in midfield. The first game seemed to almost pass him by. There was a chop there, and it's got to be a free in from 45 metres out. This was where Lorcan McLaughlin was trying to get the ball away, and the referee saw an illegal use of the stick, so it's got to be another free for Clare and Colin Ryan.
Great work by Podge Collins, a great tackling again, and he won the ball and was held back, and a handy free now for Colin Ryan.
So from 45 metres out, straight in front of the posts, should be an easy one, and is for Colin Ryan from Newmarket on Fergus. 2 from 2 for him, 1-5 for 4 points. Early stages yet, but some Clare fans already looking like they think this could be their day. It may well be. Puck out quickly towards Park Cronin. Was he pushed in the back? Cork fans thought so. Clare fans thought otherwise. Likewise the referee. Here comes Colin Galvin from 65 metres out. Conor O'Sullivan comes across to try and cut it out. But that first touch has to be good because Conor McGrath is in immediately. He's got to support Clare as well. And there's another goal! And he's done it again! Amazingly, Shane O'Donnell with 2 in the opening 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah, you'd have to say, Joe, great ball across, but you know, Conor O'Sullivan normally so tidy, made a mistake, but Conor McGrath still had a lot to do. But what a run, straight down the middle again, beautiful hand pass. And Shane O'Donnell, who wasn't in the team all week, comes in, 2 goals in the first 12 minutes of an All-Ireland final. What a dream for him. And they're huge scores for Clare. Didn't score goals all year, and now they look like scoring one every time the ball goes in there.
And he didn't get on the field, Michael, in the original match 3 weeks ago. But it's been a huge bonus for Clare to have him in there. And a wonderful decision by Davy Fitzgerald to select him at full forward. He's got that goal touch. They always say about O'Donnell, doesn't even think about anything else, just goes straight through. So 2 goals in the space of 7 minutes have fairly well set this match up for Clare. Now what will the Cork response be? Patrick Horgan hitting it in, it's got to drop a bit short in there, bounces off Cian Dillon's hands, back to Pat Kelly's goalkeeper, keeps a nice cool head, gets it back out as far as Pat O'Connor, slips it in as far as Colin Galvin, and they work it out of defence in measured, controlled fashion. Very enterprising play by Clare, down once again as far as O'Donnell. He's tormenting that Cork full back line. They get it out eventually, Cork, out eventually by Stephen MacDonald, whips on it, down into the inside forward line. Lee Hahn once again. Can he prove the danger man for the Rebels here? He's got another point. 2 shots, 2 points for Conor Lehane, and it's a 2-goal game, 2-5 to 5 points.
Yeah, Conor Lehane very sharp since the start of the game. Maybe had a half chance there for a second, but he was forced out the field and put it over the bar. But again, it's Conor McGrath's run, and look at the little hand pass there. You talked about Shane O'Donnell maybe making the runs and scoring goals, but they're just 2 finishes that he had to make from lads coming straight down the middle and opening up the Cork defence. And you know, Cork are really going to have to tighten up back there. I think you know, the changes aren't working. Brian Murphy will maybe have to go centre back and try to close down the half back line a little bit.
Clare have created 10 chances so far, taken 7 of those. Cork have created 7 chances and taken 5. They're trying to create an 8th one here now. Once again towards Luke O'Farrell, bounces away from him, and David McInerney is a very, very crafty cornerback today, rather than the number 3 on his back of his jersey. Solos too far, got a little bit too confident in himself, and Luke O'Farrell helped there by Lorcan McLaughlin robbing him. But great play here, coming across Donald O'Donovan. Up here as far as the midfielder, Colin Galvin. Swinging it diagonally across, should be Egan's, comes onto it swiftly, solos forward, the man from Kilbrinn into the inside forward line. Park Cronin there with Cian Dillon, who's lost his stick, and the referee says we're pushing, and it's going to be a free in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He was definitely You know, he looked all eyes on the ball, and you know sometimes that wouldn't be given, but he was very close to him, maybe half up in his back. But
And they're bringing up the goalkeeper. Anthony Nash is on his way. Well, they're 2 goals down. As you can see, just over 15 minutes are gone. Cork's second free of the match.
it looks like Clare are putting, there could be 12, 13 players going into the goals.
This is going to be worth having a look at. Here's Nash, and look at where all the Clare team are.
You know, Jerry, you'd have to say Clare 6 points up after 15 minutes, but Cork look like they're going to get plenty of scores too. It's so open. It's not like an All-Ireland final. You know, there's loads of room out there, and anything can happen in this game.
Well, if you were the Clare manager, what would you do? You'd bring everybody back, of course you would. Now, what can Anthony Nash do? Onto the 13-metre line, and he's going to go. Somehow he squeezed it in. 16 minutes are gone, an amazing start to this final. 2-5 to 1-5. Anthony Nash gets his 3rd ever championship goal. Watch this, sailing it over the head there of Pat O'Connor and everybody else. There was no stopping it. Venomously struck. Look where he went to, onto the 13-metre line. Bang!
And all the goalies hurled inside. But Jared, the problem there is everybody's nearly leaving it to somebody else. Now, he couldn't save that shot anyway. That is a rocket, and if that hit somebody, you know, I think he was rising it into the 13-metre line. It's crazy, it's dangerous, but it's under the rules. He's well entitled to do it.
Who will react to that score? It's Clare who've got it next. John Conlon, he was being held. It's got to be a free in, and it's got to give a chance now to Colin Ryan to put another one over the bar. And he's coming across to perform his task.
And that's a brilliant catch by John Conlon after the goal. But just to go back to it, Ger, you know, you put too many lads on the line. Who's responsible? There was 12 lads or something on the line there. Nobody really knows who's going to go for it. But he couldn't save that shot.
Did they have too many in there?
Well, I think so. Nobody knows really. If you have your 3 lads on the line, at least that's it. But you know, they were hoping maybe to go low and hit somebody. I would like to get a belt of it.
Certainly not. So Colin Ryan then to add to his points tally. He's got 2 so far from frees, and every time he comes up you can more or less write it down, and he's got another one. Tremendous shooting. Well, Davy Fitzgerald a bit anxious after the concession of that goal, but they got the next score, and that's important for him and for Clare. Encouragement, 2-6 to 1-5. Anthony Nash pucking it towards the 45-metre line. There was a wild pull there. Down went Park Cronin. His marker is Cian Dillon. Gave away that last foul or free, which led to the Nash goal. Just watch here. Not a great deal in that, I have to say.
No, both missed the ball in my opinion. And
slight push, but very, very little.
yeah, but you have to say Park Cronin doing very well under the high balls. There's a couple of frees now come off him, and he's broken a couple of balls, and that move is certainly working for Cork.
So here comes Pat Horgan, man who is blessed with wonderful natural ability. That last point he got the last day was absolutely sensational, and he is in form as well with the frees. 2 from 2 for him. There's not much point in fouling with the likes of Colin Ryan for Clare and Patrick Horgan for Cork about. So a goal between them once again. Pa Kelly from Ina Kilnamona. Drops into the half back line of Cork. Coming out to collect it, Conor McGrath looked very lively in the match so far. Galvin composed, drives it back in there. 2 Cork players go for the one ball, and between them they've missed it, and O'Donnell's in for a hat-trick. O'Donnell has got it. Horrible defending, brilliant finishing by Shane O'Donnell, and there seems to be no way to stop him. He's got goals after 6 minutes, 13 minutes, and now 19 minutes of this match, and he's made it 3-6 to 1-6. That should have been defended better. There was nobody there when the ball was blocked down and knocked to O'Donnell, and he just bounced it in past Anthony Nash.
Yeah, we would have to say there are a couple of things there. An absolutely lovely flick down by John Conlon, but Shane O'Neill caught completely ball watching. But he still had a lot to do. Look at that for a finish. You know, just to improvise like that and throw it up and bat it into the net. You know, a lot of skill involved there, and you know, John Conlon's little touchdown, great score.
When you think if Podge Collins had scored a goal with about 6 or 7 minutes to go in the last match, we wouldn't be back here, I'm pretty certain. They couldn't get a goal that day. They've got 3 this afternoon in the opening 20 minutes. And Clare lead. And Cork are under pressure. And it's Conor O'Sullivan once again. Driving it in as far as Lochlan McLaughlin. Needs an extra second on the ball. Clare's touch is faster, sharper. That time there was a foul on him, so it's got to be a free out. And Anthony Nash will come out a goal for Jimmy Barry Murphy's team. And if he's coming out, you can be pretty certain he's going to see if he can put it over the bar from just inside his own 65-metre line.
Yeah, and Jerry, your point there that Clare look sharper, and they do, and they're playing the ball. But still, before that goal, I was just going to say to you, there's only a goal in it, and Cork will be delighted with it. But it just seems every time the ball goes in around their full backline, there's complete panic, and Clare looks so dangerous. And a little bit same down the other end. I think Cork are actually picking up a lot of breaking ball, like 1-6 after 20 minutes, a decent score as well. But Clare are just going to town up in their forward line at the moment. And Shane O'Donnell, 3 goals in All-Ireland final in 20 minutes.
Anthony Nash dropped in, comes back out towards Pat O'Connor, spoons it out, but Luke O'Farrell tried to intercept. Back in to help out was Harnedy, in there as well as Patrick Horgan, makes an angle for himself and puts it over the bar. The first he scored today from play, and now it's 3-6 to 1-7. So 5 points between the teams, but Cork can't afford to keep on giving away goals at one end because they're only chipping in with points at the other.
Yeah,
not going to be enough.
No, maybe not if it continues like that, but the Cork forwards are playing way better today than they did the last day.
There was a time in the last match when they had only 1 point from play for most of the first half. Pressure on Joyce here, sails over his head, didn't get it. He's marking Colin Ryan, and all of a sudden it's Tony Kelly who gets loose. Joyce gets across to him, and Kelly just doesn't need a second invitation. Lovely score from a wonderfully talented, gifted young hurler. He really has been a vibrant influence on Clare hurling this season. Lovely skill, wonderfully crafted point. 2 between them again, 2 goals that is. Chris Joyce, first touch again, needed a second go, then runs back into O'Donnell, and they're being forced back. And look at this. The welcoming committee of Clare has started with the full forward line essentially, making life very awkward. Up into the air went Lee Hahn. He's doing well over there against Donald O'Donovan.
It looked harsh enough now, both of them going for the ball, but the linesman has come in and given his verdict.
Looks like Cork are going to make a change, and that's Stephen White who's going to come on in place of William Egan. So the first change made by Jimmy Barry Murphy and his selectors to bring in Stephen White now, coming on for just his 4th championship match. 24-year-old from Ballygarvan. Off goes Egan.
Yeah, you'd have to say John Conlon and Colin Ryan started very well, particularly under the puckouts. Colin Ryan, particularly down in front of us here, he's winning a lot of ball, just breaking it down with his hurl, and they're picking up the breaks, and a lot of scores coming off this side.
Well, this is now inside his own 65-metre line. Has he got the distance here? He's certainly going for it. Oh, it's a beauty, an absolutely beautiful score. Colin Ryan with a 4th. There is no stopping him.
He's such an integral part of this team, like under the puckouts. He's just breaking the ball, someone is coming around and picking it up, and nearly all the scores have come from this wing here. Diagonal balls coming out from breaking ball that he creates.
In all the matches he's played against Cork this year, and this is match number 6, he's got 48 points against the Rebels, and 38 by my calculation have come from frees. There's a pretty clear message there. Don't do the fouling.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many, doesn't miss any.
Referee's going to throw this in. Galvin against Daniel Carney. Picked up here by Galvin. Scampers away. Looking for McGrath. That's Conor McGrath. Conor O'Sullivan trying to read the flight of the ball and succeeding. He's had a tough opening quarter to this game. Back it comes here as far as Shane O'Neill, and Cork will now just be trying to hope that they can stay in touch as they did in the drawn final before the half-time break and give themselves a chance for the second 35 minutes. David McInerney's little hand pass across here is short, intercepted by Horgan, and Horgan sees that one end up over the end line and wide. Looked really dangerous for Clare.
Yeah, you'd have to say very well defended. Pat Horgan right through, great shoulder there. He wasn't fouled, held up there by Pat Kelly, and the ball goes wide. You just watch here, Brendan Bugler coming across here, just held him up, and Patrick Kelly held his ground there, stood up very, very well, and danger averted. Great chance there for Cork.
Seemed he was determined to use his stick on that. Could he have squeezed it in with his boot?
Maybe dropped it on the boot, but easier said from up here.
Yeah. Pa Kelly